Hello Sim Captains and crew, welcome to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, just north of San Diego. Today we're going to fly the default Baron with the Simcoders Reality Expansion Pack down to North Island Naval Air Station, also in San Diego. Stay tuned. We'll take a look briefly at the external model, and a few of the simple things that we notice right off the bat are the pitot covers, the engine cowl plugs, and of course the tie downs. We'll talk about these as we run through what this expansion pack has to offer, and if you've already seen our expansion pack, our other video with the Simcoders Reality Expansion Pack on the default Cessna, you'll already kind of know what lies ahead. They're very similar, as one would imagine. Both have now added the economy system as well. So you actually earn money while you're flying for regular maintenance or upgrades if the aircraft actually has those built in. We'll take a look at those in a little more detail here as we hop inside. And we'll just run through the menu options from top to bottom. Well, the first thing we'll take a look at here is our knee board. I'm going to drag that down to the center of the screen here. It doesn't zoom in. I'm sure there might be a way to maybe make it a little larger there, but hopefully everyone can see this here. So quickly we'll just run over. You have the three tabs: the normal operations. Here we have the before start checklist, your emergency procedures, and your references. So here we've got obviously the speeds, flap extensions, landing gear extension, angle rate of climb, pretty much everything you need to know. Really quick and accessible here. On all of these, there's an engine fail during ground roll is the first emergency procedure it shows. But once you're on the page, the bottom right, you'll see you just click and it'll flip pages. And then you have the option on both the left and right to go forward and back. We'll take this on a brief flight today down south. Plan on going to North Island Naval Air Station. So we'll go from a Marine base over to a Navy base. It's short and just kind of want to show it off. The Reality Expansion Packs are about $20. They're a nice little addition for those of you obviously who already have the default aircraft. I mean, we all do. So for a couple extra dollars, we can add a little bit more realism to them. You can argue over the economy system, whether you want to really enjoy that. Some people do, some people don't. I personally, I like making a little bit of money off of it. I think the last flight I did from Orlando down to Key West in this actually was about $8 a mile is what I got paid. So that's more money obviously than what the fuel costs. But anyway, we'll go ahead and close this now that we've flipped back and forth. Now we'll look at the next tab, which is our mass and balance. You can see we have our front seats, middle seats, rear seats. You can add your weight there, and it'll and your baggages as well. So it'll shift your CG around. Let's just put 230 pounds in here, and you can see our CG shifts forward. If you missed that, let's drop that back, and we'll go back to 180, maybe. I can get this to cooperate here. $180. Okay, that didn't work. There we go, 180. And the CG shifts forward. And again, here you have your fuel tanks as well. I'm not going to mess too much with this. Let's do 45, so let's do 30. And we'll click off of it. And then you can see here, this is actually our money from our economy system. So we took fuel out, so it gave us $56 back. We'll run this back to 45, which I think is where I had it for a planned flight. And then if you go over that, let's say we add 50, and then it takes $21 out of your account. So that's how that function works. And then you can see also it affects our center of gravity as we do that. Let's go back to 46. Okay, or I guess that's a gallon at about $4.22. Anyway, you can click the fill tanks, and it takes, I don't know, $300 or $400 to fill this. I think it's about 100 and something gallons usable. Landing CG prediction here, if you know your flight time, if it's an hour and or let's say it's an hour and 22 minutes, that would be what, 82? So if we add that, 82 minutes, we now have a takeoff CG and a landing CG, and as well as our weights. So very cool. Has the summary as well. You can adjust your cruise fuel flow again to go back up to this landing CG prediction. You have change units also if you want to use kilos, liters, your metric system. And that pretty much sums up our mass and balance tab. So now we'll go take a look over at our walk around. The walk around here is where we pre-flight everything. Let me pull this again back to center screen here. And you have a lights check. It clicks everything on, and then you can click toggle lights. Let me pull this back over here. Toggle lights, and then we go next. You walk around. Actually, none of the lights are going to work right now, because now that I think about it, I don't have the battery hooked up. So anyway, you walk around, your lights would be on, and your beacons would be rotating, and your strobes flashing. So we will go back to the pre-flight. And again, we'll drag this back to middle so everyone can see. Now this part, we'll go ahead, we'll do the walk around here. Again, I have not connected the battery, so we'll kind of save that to the end. So you have your checklist here, parking brakes set, and switches to off, which that one's not. Actually, neither of these, because we just did that battery check. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll abbreviate this process here, and just kind of run through everything. So trim tab. So if we move to next, then we'll have your static port, load distribution, clear, doors locked. Check elevator, keep pressed. Okay, so I'll show this. I won't show it for all the control surfaces. But you get the neat little sound there. Go to next, check rudder, same thing as well. And the tilt you're seeing there on the camera, that's my Simcoders head check plugin. That's free. You can get that from simcoders.com. And it lets the camera, if you will, your point of view kind of jiggle around. You can adjust that. So landings get a little more dramatic. Turbulence is a little more dramatic. And you can adjust that rate up or down to increase or lessen the effect. For the tie down, we'll go ahead and get rid of all of those, as well as our cowl covers and our wheel chocks. And again, I'll just do this one final time, but if you press and hold, your control surfaces move. Here we have fuel, 45 gallons, and the color is blue. It should be our 100 low lead, water contamination, none. Now, I have not seen any contamination yet. I don't know that it models it or how it would show it. So I don't know if you get a little bit of white or clear in with the color if you do have water contamination. We'll toggle this tie down. Next should be our chocks. We can see our current tire status here is green. Not sure if that wears down or it changes color. Here we have oil. Now this, I did just do an oil refill on these, on both engines actually. I was about a quart low. And so now we've topped it back up. We have our nice golden color here. Toggle our cover. Toggle our pitot. And after you land, I'll move this out of the way. After you land, if you've had the pitot on, the temperature shows up here and it gradually cools off. This model does have persistence. So if you leave the switch on, it will remain hot. If you leave a battery on and active, it will discharge over time. And if you leave a light switch or a knob turned, it will be that way the next time you come back to it, as with these chocks. If you leave these chocks here, they will be here the next time you come back. If you do not use the tie downs, they will not be here when you come back. So, very cool to have this. It might be a little bit tedious for some. Others may enjoy it. I use them from time to time. If I'm flying it frequently, I may not use them down. Use the wheel chocks. I'll usually use the tie downs and the covers and all that. But some of them I won't do. To be honest, I kind of skip by the control surface checks. You know, the flaps, ailerons, etc. When I first got it, I did it quite a bit, but it's one of those things you may choose to use it or not. Purely up to you. And now that we've completed the walk-around menu, we'll go to the tow. Take a look at this here. If you see at the top right of my screen, it's kind of hard to see maybe. It says you must disable the brakes before being able to tow the aircraft. So we will do that at this time. I have a key toggled. And then if I'm pressing forward now, which would kind of be your nose down on my joystick, it's moving the aircraft back. We'll bring it to a neutral position and it kind of slows down. The aircraft kind of has some inertia to it. Now we'll pull it back. And then if I turn left and right, this would be like banking, you know, with your ailerons here. You get the left and right movement. So kind of neat if you have hangars wherever you fly normally and you keep the aircraft hangared, you can pull it in and out. Again, I've showed this briefly, I believe, on the Simcoders for the Cessna as well. So with that, we'll click off our tow. This bottom one I'm not going to discuss. I'm not going to discuss in this video. It's an automatic engine start. To give you the short story, if you click it, it will scroll through what it's doing at the top of the menu. So it'll say, you know, mixture set to rich and ignition set to on, throttle for 1,000 RPM, whatever. It'll tell you what it's doing. I do have on the channel, we have the Simcoders for the 172. I have an auto start with it that I recorded for the first time. That video, it's an old video. I think we did 2 or 3 of them actually with the 172. They were the first couple videos on the channel, so they'll probably be more painful to watch than this one, hopefully. But feel free to check that out. I may link that in here as we go through if you're interested. But again, it's just, it tells you what to do, and it's a great tool to have if you are new to an aircraft and you want to look and see what the process is. Now you do have your checklists, but we'll go over that when I do this. There's actually a couple items on there that I don't know where they're at on this aircraft in particular, but we'll address that here momentarily. Alright, now for probably one of the more interesting ones is the maintenance report. So we'll start here. Has the model in the top left. I don't know what the number there is. I don't know if that's a tail number or what. Time 8:34. I don't know if that's total flight time for the tail number. I believe it is. And then your economy record, so you can see, looks like I have about 8 hours and 9 minutes in economy, and my feet per minute on landing is 87. So our we have a Teledyne Continental IO550C, and we're looking at our left engine here. You can see we'll have left and right for the twins, or the first 2 pages. So we have our time of 6 hours and 55 minutes, and it looks like 1700, I believe, is our time between overhaul. So there is a slight difference here between our economy and the engine status time. So we'll run down. Cylinders are okay. Then we have our compression checks for each cylinder. You can see here, I mean, they don't have very many hours on them, so 79, 80, that would be expected. We have our oil. It's SAE 50. It's clean, and we have 43 hours it needs changed. And again, we will pay for that with our economy money. Oil fluid, we are full there. These are available oil types. And then it tells you you can use it, you can click on it. I'm not going to do that because I've just paid to top my oil up currently. but it tells you how much money it is, and then it'll take an hour. So if we wanted to change to SAE 30, for example, we would click use. It would be $180 deducted from our account, and it would take 1 hour. Now that is 1 hour system time. So if you click it, this aircraft is down for an hour. If you try and start it without oil, it'll get expensive. I had the 172, had an oil pump failure, I believe, so I clicked, clicked the repair action. I can't remember. It was, a couple $100 or whatever to fix it. And I just clicked it and was like, okay, I'm going to go hop in the plane and go fly because I wanted to fly. I think I was getting ready to record. Might have been the ILS approach video, actually. Anyway, so I hopped in the plane, started it up. I got a warning at the top. And, we're talking within a matter of seconds. I didn't even, nothing crossed my mind. Well, anyway, when the maintenance was performed, the oil pump was removed, and I totaled the engine. So it was $40,000. And you can see here, if we look down to the bottom left, I have $10,300. That's been restarted because the $40,000 I spent to repair the Cessna, I didn't have. You can't take $40,000 from $10,000. So I had to start the economy system over. You will get warnings in the top left. Like I think I had one, no oil pressure, I think was the alert it gave me. And as soon as I looked down to confirm that on the gauge, it was done. Like that was it. Oil filter, again here, this one is clean. We have 93 hours before change. Oil pump 1 is okay. Fuel pump's okay. Plugs, I use these. You can switch them out. It takes 20 minutes. As you can see, it's $1,200 to change to the fine wire. These say fouling more. And if you don't lean these aircraft out with the Reality Expansion Packs on taxi, you'll get a spark plug fouling notification. Or, if your RPM's not high enough. Plug tips clean. Starter okay. Vac pump okay. We're going to kind of skip this one. Actually, we'll look briefly here at the cylinder compression. You can see where it, I'm just going to read the first number here, 80, 79, 80, 80, 79, 79. If we look back at the left engine, 79, 79, 80, 80, 79, 79. So each of them have different compression. So we have the left and the right engine. Here we have engine upgrades. I have not done these yet, but I want to. So if you look at engine 1 here, engine upgrades, tuned injectors give less vibrations and better SFC when lean of peak. So I assume that's specific fuel consumption. So our factory injectors are in use. We can use tuned one at a price of $700, and that takes 3 hours. Now we have that available here. If we skip over, we have the left and right engine, engine 1 and 2. So we'd probably want to do that to both engines at the same time. And then here we have tuned exhausts, provide about 10 horsepower at full power and less vibrations. So those are $1,800 each and take 4 hours. So I'm going to try and get the economy bank account up, and then I would like to actually do all of those at the same time. We'll click over to engine tools now. This is page 4 of 9. We have our fan. So this is our preheater. If it's cold or if you fly in cooler climates, I showed this, I believe, in the 172 video as well. You can see that the cylinder head temperature will increase slowly, and it has a fast or a speed button on it where you click it and it just instantaneously brings it to, I think it's about 70 or 80 degrees Fahrenheit. On the Baron here, we also have a winterization kit for cowl fairings, and we have no notes, so we can mount or dismount. I have not read the winterization kit. I live in Florida, or actually both flight brothers. We live in, I've been flying this aircraft a lot in Florida. We live in Arizona, so we haven't really used the winterization kit. It is included in the manual what it does, and that I have not looked up. Here we have our battery. Our current charge is 267 watt hours with a maximum of 270. And it is currently disconnected. We'll go ahead and connect that here momentarily when I run to engine start. Avionics, we have our GPS, ADFs, transponders, markers, and autopilots are all okay. You will get warnings if you turn on your avionics master, before starting engines, because you'll get that that current voltage surge when you flip the alternators online. So it is in the checklist to turn that on after the Avionics Master after engine start, and you'll end up paying the price if you do that incorrectly. And again, here we have instruments on page 7. Airspeed, altimeters, fuel indicators, and fuel flow. Page 8 is landing gear and braking. So we have struts, left, right, and front tires, and our actuators and discs. Actuators, I guess, being our actual our calipers. If we take a look here, current balance, this is page 9 of 9, which would be probably 8 of 8 on the Cessna, since it only has the single engine. So you can see here out of some of the flying I've done, you get, here was a flight time of 1 hour and 45, 1 hour and 33. There's actually been some flights that I've completed in here that, well, some flights that I have started but not completed in here for different reasons. You see some maintenance here performed for $500. I don't remember what that was. A flight time reward of 1 hour and 33 minutes is $780. And again, I think it does it by mileage, if I'm not mistaken. So it displays here in flight time, but I believe that you actually get paid by mileage. So you can take it up and say fly around the pattern, and it's going to log those miles. So you won't take off, land with 0 miles. You'll get that. Some maintenance done again here, $9. This 33 was topping off the oil. That I remember. I think this $9 and $10 was charging of the batteries. And there is disable if you want to ignore all of this money and finance time and just fly the airplane in a more realistic manner through the expansion pack. You may do that with disable. And if you start an engine with no oil pump and run out of money, you click the reset the economy system. So we'll go back and I will connect my battery, and we'll go through an engine start, takeoff. We'll fly down to North Island and do a final land and see what it looks like when we get there to show this off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull up, what do I want here, our knee board. There we go. Let me get back to the first page here. We'll run through this. I might probably edit out some of the flight. We may get the beginning here and the in the end. Cut and clip a little bit of it in between. I don't want to bore you. It's a brief flight. Just kind of want to get through this, get this done. That way, if any of you are interested in the default airplane, I mean, it's for $20 adding it on here. You add that extra little bit of realism. You get the better sound, better texturing here, better flight modeling. It's in my opinion, it's well worth the $20 to go ahead and get that if you enjoy general aviation airplanes. So we got the seats, position and lock, seat belt, shoulder harnesses, fasten adjusted, parking brake set. Let's move this out of the way. And parking brake is set. Avionics off. So we're just going to run through our switches. All down, 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 down. Okay, that is down. Gear handle down. That's checked. Cowl flap switches check open. Those are down here on the floor. And those are open. Fuel selectors check on. Now this is one of them that I don't know where it is. This looks to me like it would be a fuel selector, but I can't interact with it. So all circuit breaker switches, equipment controls. So it looks like all of these, which aren't actually modeled, but here they are. Battery switch on. Now we'll start getting our juice here as you hear the airplane start to come to life. Beacon on. Turn on the bacon. Alright, fuel quantity. We do have fuel in there. Gear light. 3 green, check. And emergency handle hand crank. Have no idea where that's at. Probably over here somewhere. So, on to page 2. That's our before start engine checklist complete. Mixture control full rich. So we'll run that forward. I have that on a key here on my joystick. Propeller control full forward. Again, that is full forward. Throttle full open. So we're going to advance the throttle to full. Boost pump high until fuel flow peaks, then off. Alright, so for that, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our fuel flow here. We're going to start with engine number 2 first. Our boost pump switch is down here with the green ends on it. We're going to click this up, and then we're going to watch. I believe it comes to around 7 gallons. So it kind of comes up quick to 5, 6, and then it kind of slows down there. It's pretty much stopped, so we'll turn fuel off. And we'll do it again for number 1. We're actually getting a warning now up top saying we've flooded number 2. So we'll see how that goes. Should be great. Alright, throttle closed, then open a 1/2 inch. So we're going to close it, and then we're going to crack it. Magneto is going to be to start, and then throttle is going to be 900 to 1000. So we're going to try and start 2, see if we can get that one done. Okay, it's not wanting to start. Let's see if we can start 1 here. Alright, 1 started fine for us. And we have RPM is 1000. And since 1's running, I'm going to go ahead and throw on our alternator here. Now it says 2's flooded, so I'm going to give it some power here. I don't have independent throttles, so I'm going to advance the throttle. We're going to try and start 2, and then we'll bring throttle back to 1000. And there we've got a start, and we're going to bring it back quickly. And of course, yeah, it's telling us avoid high RPMs. This is probably going to burn my engine up. We're going to go ahead and lean the mixture now as well. Continue bringing that power back again. I didn't realize my throttle was actually still that high. So there we go. We have about 900 to 1000 RPM there. Mag start switches start. Okay, we are started. So oil pressure is 10 pounds. We have good oil pressure. Alternator switch is on. We have left already on, right's coming on now. Load meters and voltmeters. I have no idea where these are on here. We have an outside air temperature gauge, our vacuum here, clock, standard 6-pack, engine, fuel, prop amps, de-icing, transponder, ADF, GPS, comms, and navs. Have no idea where the load and voltmeters are. So we're going to pretend that one doesn't exist. After starting in taxi, avionics on is required, exterior lights, brakes, release, and check. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to go ahead and turn on the taxi lights. We'll get the navs on as well. Avionics, get that on. And I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit here. Maybe. There's San Diego. K-San, so I'm going to kind of bug something in that general direction. Oops. Might help if I bug the correct thing. I'm kind of bug a south heading there. So exterior lights, avionics we have on. We're just going to kind of VFR it, so to speak. Alright, we will go ahead and taxi, and then we'll run through the before takeoff checklist at the other end. We'll see you guys down there. And if we look at right across here, you'll see that there's the 7,000 foot remaining marker here at this intersection. So rather than taxi all the way down to the end of the runway here at Miramar, as you can see, there's still plenty of runway to our left. We're just going to go ahead and do our run up here and do our departure. Again, 7,000 feet is not much less actually than I think San Diego has. I think San Diego's around 8,200 or so. So we'll go ahead and do our run up now and fly down to North Island. This is our walk around. It says you can only use the hangar when the airplane's on the ground and the engines are off. If you click the wrong thing and you can't use it, it'll let you know. So parking brake is set. Seatbelt, shoulder harnesses checked. Boost pumps off if greater than 32 degrees, which it is. All instruments checked. That's fine. Fuel indicators. We're good. We're a little under half tank there. Actually, can you see those rocking? Yeah, you can actually see them wobbling a little bit. Super cool. Alright, mixture full rich. Starter, annunciator light off. And throttle's 2200. Okay, so we're going to advance the throttle. Go rich. Get us up, and there we are to 2200 RPM. You can see there. Propeller exercise. Alright. Gonna move it back and forth here. Actually, I'm gonna zoom out so you can see the RPM. And you'll see our little indicator here spinning as well, letting us know that we have some RPM difference between them. Kind of a little more visual representation. Okay, propellers are back to full. Exercise throttle 1700, so we're going to pull that down to 1700. There's roughly 1700 mags. 50 RPM max diff, 150 between max drop. So again, we're going to watch here. I'm going to zoom back out and then we'll click left on engine number 2. Very good. Right mag on engine number 2, also good. Back to both, and we'll do it again for engine number 1. Here we have left. Right mag, almost no difference between the left and right. And then back to both. Perfect. Alright, next one is throttles 1500. So we'll pull that down again, and we have check feathering. So I don't know if this is a visual or you pull it all the way back. It moves things, obviously. We can see it on our RPM gauge. And we'll do engine number 1. If you actually know or happen to be a real Baron pilot, appreciate it. If you don't know why you'd be watching this, actually, if you're a real Baron pilot. But hey, everybody's got hobbies and interests, right? So, but if you know about that, please please drop that in a comment there. We'd be more than happy to read it and share it with our audience. Throttle's idle note RPM. So we're going to bring that back to idle. And I'm actually going to lean this thing out as well. Let's see. Okay. Throttle's 900 to 1,000. Okay, so that is set. Electric trim, check operation. That is right down here. So nose up, nose down. We'll do about 1 up. I think that tends to help a little bit on climb out. Flaps, check and set for takeoff. This is another one. Not sure if normal procedure is flaps up or 1. Flight controls check. Up and down. Rudder left and right. And right. Flaps down. And flaps up. Perfect. Doors and windows closed and locked. There you go. We'll turn that one up, and you can open this one if you didn't know that. And one I learned recently from the other flight brother during our live stream, first live stream actually. We just recently had another one this week. Is this opens. So our first live stream, he showed this to me and the viewers. I was unaware of it. And then we had our second live stream where we flew the FlyJ Sim 727 from Anchorage to Fairbanks. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested in the FlyJ, some VOR navigation, or how we function together, kind of a little crew resource management, check that one out. Doors closed and locked. Okay, parking brake is off. See, we have windows, doors all closed. One final check there since I was goofing off. And parking brake off. Okay. So with that, we'll be ready to go. And for takeoff, lights on. Let's get those on now. Oops, let's see. There we go. On. Let's go ahead and we'll turn on strobes. Transponder. That is on. Full throttle 2700 and okay. Set takeoff power mixture full rich. Accelerate and maintain. Retract. Gear and lights. I'm going to move this kind of down and out of the way so I can actually see my instruments here. Okay, so we'll move that up. And again, we're just going to kind of VFR wing this one. So we will go full rich. That is done. Holy cow. Okay, advance the throttles. And our rotate's about 85 knots, which is our red line. And then we'll climb at 105 is best rate. Add a little bit more trim there. Positive rate, we'll go gear up. I'm going to keep this one pretty low. Let's try 2,500 feet, see how that works for us. I'm going to spin the heading bug here. There we go, spin the heading bug. Sorry, I'm kind of moving in and out of the microphone there. I apologize for that. I'm going to get the autopilot on. Let's get it in heading mode. Get our yaw damps on as well. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to come back on the power a little bit here. I think we need don't need that much power. Not going that high. If we look off to our left, right over here should be our San Diego. Ooh, actually we have some traffic there coming at us. What's this one? Oh, let me deal with this. Let's see, what is that? Not exactly sure what that is. We're at 2,500. I'm going to level. And I'm going to bring power back. Bring power way back actually. Alright, where'd that aircraft go here? Let's see, we'll zoom in. It's liveried like a British Airways, but I don't think I have all of my plugins correct. Set up most of it, but let's take a look here. That is an A320 Cessna by Gordon Aviation. That is interesting. I think looks like 172 RW. So it looks like we have a little inaccuracies there in what we're seeing on our screen. Alright, we're going to go ahead and fly out here over the ocean. We've got the Mission Bay VOR pretty much right off our wing here. Got a little low altitude clouds there. That's alright. We'll run back over here. Power, airspeed gear is retracted. Let me confirm that one. Yep, that is confirmed. Flaps retracted. We didn't use those. And here we have cowl flaps, mixture. This is your cruise climb. And you can see it gives you pressures and fuel flows, altitude, and your expected burn rates as well. So again, really cool. Love these Simcoders Reality Expansion Packs. Quite honestly, if they had them for about everything, I would buy them. Simcoders, also, if you're listening, Aerobask DA62 Reality Expansion Pack. Super cool. Make it, I'm in. Alright, we're feet wet, so we're going to go ahead and make a turn to the south here. Got some wicked contrails there. There's another aircraft, or that might be the same guy actually, climbing out there. Yeah, that's him, 172RW. If you're interested in actually who or what that is, Google it. It'll probably show up. Alright. Heading south here. Looks like, let's see. I think this is the Point Loma Lighthouse, if I'm not mistaken, right here. I believe this is Point Loma. Then this would be North Island and Coronado. So let's take a look over there. We have San Diego off to the left. So I'll tell you what, let's turn. We will go VFR direct to Khe-Sanh. We'll do a little flight over that, maybe head down Coronado and do a trip back up, land at North Island, and show you kind of the money and payment and how that works here on the Reality Expansion Pack. Alright, we are nearing San Diego here. It's just off of our nose. And actually, real quick, we're getting there pretty quick actually, but you see this is spinning to the left. So if we pull our, actually that was the wrong way. I guess it spins toward the faster side. So if we pull our prop back just a little bit there, we'll get that. If you've got them close, you can actually click the prop sync button here and it'll take care of it for you. Kind of gets rid of that uneven drone on the twins, the props. So yeah, this would be Point Loma out here. This is where we'll be coming back to here at North Island Naval Air Station on Coronado. And we have over here, we'd be upsetting probably right now San Diego because we're blasting through here at 2,500 feet on their, I believe this is their predominant departure region here. And then we have downtown San Diego, of course, in front of us. So, hey, what we'll just fly out here. We'll go straight down the bay inlet here. We'll come down past the Strand, do a little loop, turn around, and we'll come back, land at North Island. We'll call that our flight today as we check out the expansion pack, and then we'll go over some of the post-flight features of it. Oh, and this is not default scenery, by the way. This is, I believe this is the Mr. X6 scenery pack. So it adds some of the ortho imagery scenery around here. If you need that or you wish to get that, we have a video on the SSG 747-800. Click on the video description and it is in there. We flew here and did a quick overview of this along with that aircraft flying from Denver to San Diego. And so if you're interested in this scenery, feel free to go check out that video. Click on the video description and it will be there for you. And I believe here's the USS Midway Museum, if you're ever there. let's go ahead and get back in the plane. We'll make a slight right turn. Kind of come down the inlet here. I was out here not long ago. It was about a year ago. It was fantastic. I love San Diego. Beautiful, beautiful area. Got to do some sightseeing around there. Some SeaWorld. Spent time at the Midway. Actually, what is this? I guess there's a helipad or something in the middle of the bay. Got to spend some time out here, and actually was driving along out here, and at some point, I believe, I could actually see a, speaking of which, what's that? Oh, we have an oil rig or something out here. I could actually see a submarine out here in the Pacific. It's really cool. First time I'd ever seen a sub. Of course, if you're from San Diego or live or stationed here, you know that is a common sight, but for me it was not, so I did enjoy that. Drove down here as well. I can't remember the name of the area near the border. Drove down there. There's a, I think it's a pier if I remember right. Unfortunately, we didn't go out on the pier. I had the dog with me and wasn't able to take him there, but we were able to go to another section of beach up Coronado, which was pet friendly. So had a really great time up there. Stopped at a ice cream parlor, got some ice cream, took the family and the pets and went out and had an evening on the beach. Very cool. Enjoyed it, and that was the first time I'd watched the sunset over the Pacific, which was really cool to me. So I do like San Diego. We'll be going back there again at some point. And we got the mountains. I think this is actually how we drove over there, probably through this area, or perhaps a little more northern. Alright, what do you guys think? Is that enough? Is that enough listening to this airplane drone and me drone? Alright, I agree. Tell you what, let's snap back 180 degrees here. Start heading up, and then we'll go ahead and bring power back as well. We'll get down into our wide arc here for our flap extension speed, and we'll start decreasing. Try and get about 1,000 feet, 1,000 feet AGL, I guess, which is almost mean sea level here as well. We'll get the flaps out, create a little more drag. Oh, it's giving me an alert there on the gear. That's all right. Okay, tell you what, I don't want to listen to that, so we'll go ahead and get the gear out. Alright, we have green down and locked. I'm going to skip to, let's see, descent, altimeter. I didn't even adjust that for today's flight, I'll be honest with you. Mixture full, cowl flaps closed. Alright, well, we'll close those. It's warm enough out here, probably could have closed those anyway. Alright, cowl flaps. Tell you what, we're also going to go a little bit more left here on our course. Stay out again over the bay. I don't want to fly over the buildings at 1,000 feet. There may be some approaching that, and then I'll lose my safety buffer anyway. Flaps as required, power as required. We're a little draggy, so I'm going to come up on the throttle. Actually going to come up on the mixture as well. Since we are near sea level, we got some nice dense air here today. Not often I actually look at the Baron with the wheels hanging out. Super cool. And I believe here as we come up this Bay Bridge, I believe during the filming of the movie Navy SEALs. I think this is the one Charlie Sheen's character supposedly jumped off of. I believe a friend of mine, a friend and coworker of mine, told me that he was stationed out here for a number of years and was on an aircraft carrier. So I believe that was filmed there. So if you see that film and that guy jumping off there, I believe that did happen here. Okay, we're at 1,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and stop our descent at this time. We may kind of hand fly this up here. And we'll zoom in. Man, how cool would it be to be in a small aircraft and just fly this route? Kind of a visual over the bay. Got downtown, got the Navy base, got the airport. Be really neat. And I didn't even look, I don't even know what the runways is here at North Island, so we're going to totally eyeball this. This was a spur of the moment flight. And kind of back to that story as we're here on approach. My plan to show off this expansion pack was to do a flight from Key West. As I'd mentioned earlier, I flew the airplane to Key West. So I was going to fly from Key West up to Peter O'Knight in Tampa. But I did the flight and I actually had the computer seize up on me near, I believe it was Sarasota. So that was unfortunate. I lost, I had an hour of flight time. Was recording the video. The last part of the video was corrupted, and so I couldn't use about a 10 or 20 minute segment of it. Go ahead and kick off the yaw damp and autopilot at this time. Alright, we have gear down. We'll start moving the flaps. So anyway, get our second notch of flaps out here. Very high, but we'll go ahead and land here. So so it corrupted the file, which, okay, I'd lost the whole flight planning. We actually had thunderstorms on that flight, so I planned an alternate route slightly west of the thunderstorms. It was working out perfectly. So anyway, the computer locks up. I lose that file. The flight doesn't get completed. Kind of bummed out. So, all right, no big deal. I'll either complete half the flight and then we'll record that. We'll edit it in, or I said I'll do the flight again. It was only an hour and 22 minutes, I think, was the scheduled flight time. So anyway, I went to do the flight again the second time. Actually, it was upon reviewing the footage is when I found out that the last file was corrupted, and that was a typical Navy landing right there. So the file was corrupted, and the last file that was usable was not very long after departure. So that pretty much meant I'd be doing the entire flight again anyway. Can't talk and do both these things at the same time. So anyway, I went a couple days later. Said, okay, well, I'll just do the. I'm trying to lean my mix here. I'll just redo the flight again. No big deal. It was an hour and 20 minutes. Fine. I don't know where we're supposed to park, so I'm just gonna park up a spot here. And so I started doing the flight again. Flew the same route. Even because the work had been done, the flight plan had been done. I said, well, why redo it? Let's just do the flight. Get to almost the same spot. I think it was about 20 miles or so southeast of, and I hope I'm saying it right. I hope it's Sarasota. It was RSW was the beacon. So we get there, the thing locked up again. The computer just locked up, and I said, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. My keyboard was about to become, well, not one piece. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. So anyway, if you caught our live stream, you know, in the FlyJ, you'll find out that it was supposed to be the Simcoders flight with this aircraft, but instead I've hopefully turned it into something still usably, kind of an overview of the Reality Expansion Pack. But that's why the flight didn't show up. After 2 failed attempts, I had little patience remaining, and just said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it again. So wanted to get this video out. That way we wouldn't have to have a miss again. We've been out about 9 months now. Yeah, as this is September as we're recording it. We've been out 9 months, and we've had weekly content every week. So I'm still hoping I can get this shot, edited, uploaded, and okayed by the other flight brother. And unfortunately, I've got about 2 days to do it, and I have a job and some other things that need to happen. So it is going to be a challenge. So with that, let's go back to our knee board here, and we have descended. We crashed it onto the deck. Balked landing, yeah, probably. After landing, landing and taxi lights as required. We've got those off. Flaps up. Let's check that. We do have flaps up. Trim set to 0. We are at about plus 2.5. Flaps are, trim is now 0. Cowl flaps open. Left and right open. Boost pumps as required. Shut down. Parking brake set. We'll grab that. Propellers high RPM. That's a check. Throttles 1000. Throttles are at 1000. Boost pumps off. That is checked. Electrical and avionics off. Okay, I already got the master. All these are off. Mixture controls to idle cutoff. We'll go 2 started first, so we'll shut 2 down. Good stop. And a good stop on 1 as well. Let's see, magnetos off after engine stop. Okay, that is done. Battery and alternator off. Alt left and right, and battery master. Alright, super cool. So we are done there, so I'll tell you what, let's get out of this pig and let's do our post-flight. Put our pitot on. Let me bring this again back to center. Hopefully you can see that a little better. Not going to worry about the chocks today. We're just going to do the tie downs. We will put our covers in, of course. Chocks, that's fine. Tie down. And that will complete that. Thank you all for joining us today here on Flight Brothers FT. If you like the content, please click the subscribe. If you want to know when we upload, which is every Thursday at 00Z, or quadruple 0Z, midnight Zulu, on Fridays, click the bell. If you're interested in following us on social media, we're out there. Flight Brothers FT on Facebook, and I believe we are Flight FT 2019. Flight FT 2019 on Instagram. We have some AvGeeky photos we put up there sometimes. We have some sim photos we put up there sometimes. So we kind of like to do all of that. And if you're on Twitter, which not many people are from what we can tell, or maybe just no one cares to follow us, we're at Flight FT. Thank you for flying with us today from Marine Corps Air Station Miramar over to North Island Naval Air Station in San Diego in the default with the Simcoders Reality Expansion Pack add-on Baron. Until next week, take care, plan the flight, and fly the plan.